For our late start, it's about 5:06. I apologize. I want to call the Monday, September 25th Board of Education meeting to order. I would ask if you would all please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you very much. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Now we will have Janelle Ewing read the mission statement.
The Waterloo Schools community commits to a comprehensive system of education and support to assure that each and every student will graduate prepared for college, career, and citizenship as evidenced by continuing education, pursuing a career path, and contributing to a community.
Thank you very much, Janelle. Next up, our first item, item A, is a Governmental Financial Officer's Certificate of Excellence Award and a tribute to Michael Coughlin, our former CFO. The background on this is the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting has been awarded to the Waterloo Schools by the Government Financial Officers Association of the United States and Canada, GFOA, for its 21-22 Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, the CAFR. The certificate achievement is the highest form of recognition in the area of governmental accounting and financial reporting, and its attainment requires a significant accomplishment by a government and its management and entities. The CAFR has been judged by an impartial panel to meet the high standards of the program, including demonstrating a constructive spirit of full disclosure to clearly communicate the financial story and motivate potential users and user groups to read the CAFR. The GFOA is a nonprofit professional association serving approximately 15,000 government finance professionals with offices in Chicago and Washington, D.C. An award of financial reporting achievement has also been awarded to the individual department or agency designated by the government as primarily responsible for preparing the award-winning CAFR. This award was presented to Michael Coughlin and the entire business office staff. Michael Coughlin faithfully served the Waterloo Schools for 16 years as Chief Financial Officer. He passed away September 5th after complications following heart surgery. Michael led with integrity and left the district in a positive financial state despite multiple changes from the state and stagnant enrollment in the district. Members of Michael's family and several of our business office staff will be here to present and to pay tribute to Michael and the legacy that he leaves behind. We'll turn it over to you, Jeff.
I just want to say a couple words. First of all, if Michael was here, he'd say this was definitely a team effort. We've got a great team in the business office, and we always work together. It's been a huge loss for us personally, as well as just having a really wise person to lean into and always count on to be there for us. So it's been a big loss, and we are all carrying on the best we can. This is about the 25th year in a row that we've received this award, so we're very proud as a district to have accomplished this again this year.
Thank you, and thank you all for picking up. Do you have your staff here that we can honor if they'd stand?
Yeah, you guys want to stand?
And if you would please, if you would each please come to the mic and just let us all know you and how long you've worked with us, we would appreciate that. Make sure the green button is on when you get up there. Don't be shy. Yeah. I think we have Emily here that could maybe take some photos for us.
Hi, I'm Christy Troop. I'm the payroll coordinator, and I've been with Waterloo Schools for 24 years. It's been a joy and a privilege working with Michael all these years. I think we've shared some of that together with Julia and stuff, but I think one of the things that has meant the most to me from Michael was the support he always gave me. I went into him how many times and said, I screwed up. And he was always like, there isn't anything that you could do that I haven't done already in my career. And he just always gave me the support that I needed to carry on and get through. So I will always remember that dearly in my future.
Thank you so much.
Deb Jacobs, staff accountant, I think 22 years, somewhere in there. My comments on Michael was a big picture guy, and I'm sure those of us that are detail-oriented drove him bonkers. I know sometimes I would say I need to come into the meeting and be like, oh, no, we know this is going to take an hour or whatever. But anyway, and I've shared with Julia and her children that Michael just glowed when he talked about you guys. It was just awesome. And yeah, he's truly missed, and I would like to reach out. Thank you guys that did reach out to us during this loss. It was very much appreciated. I know we got phone calls, emails, flowers, cards, statues. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Deb.
And I'm Ann McCusker. I am the grant specialist, and both Jeff and Michael chose to pick me from Colorado. I came here from Colorado. I don't want to get emotional, but Michael's decision to hire me back home, this is where I grew up, has been very instrumental, and I told his family that his decision to hire me has just made my life so much better. His one decision to hire me for this job just has made my life just go, psh, so much better. And so I'm really grateful for that. And he did a lot of things that complemented my job. And today I did one instead of him and went in to Jeff and said, I might have done this backwards. I'm not sure. Let's see. And then I found out I didn't do it backwards, but I thought I had. Because Michael did a lot of things behind the scenes that we just didn't know that made this place run and run well and get 16 years worth of awards. You know what I mean? So kudos to his family, and I know he'll be missed, and I know he's missed here. And Jeff has done a tremendous job trying to run and keep up, and Deb and Christy and all the guys that have been here a long time, and Miss Chris, even though she's not with us, she's with us all the time, even though she's in a different department. So thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Chris Whelan. I've been with the district 14 years. Michael hired me as a staff accountant to help with payroll, and we just got a lot of things going. Michael was awesome. I'm going to miss him dearly, and I'm sorry. I abandoned the finance office a year ago and went to the HR department and do benefits, and Michael gave me his blessing, which meant a lot. Michael was just phenomenal. I don't know how to explain it. Christy and I were roommates, and we would go in with him with an argument, and he'd just say, go fight it out. Just get it figured out, and we'd argue on which way to do this tax or that tax, and just some really, really fond memories. Michael was very, very proud of his family, your dogs, your house. He was just always showing pictures of the grandbabies, and I am truly, truly going to miss him. And thank you for letting us share that.
Well, thank you all for sharing. I'm getting emotional. I worked on finance with Michael. We'll let board members if they want to say anything, for probably the last 12 years. And he just was so full of integrity. And I always think of him that Martin Luther King said it the best, that a genuine leader is not a searcher for consensus, but a molder of consensus. And I think that's what Michael was. So I think now we'll turn it over to Dr. Smith, and we'd ask the family to come up, and then we will try to get some pictures too, Jeff, if you want to step out, and I think Emily's here to get some photos.
Yeah, I'll just make a couple quick comments, and then I see Julia's here, maybe some other family members, and we got a plaque. But a couple thoughts that have already been said. I don't need to share much more, but definitely super impressed with what he brought to the table in terms of his just knowledge. Coming in, new superintendent. I mean, I've been a superintendent, but not in a big district like this with a $160 million budget that he operates annually. Just super impressed with how he was able to make it work for the kids. We would, Anthony and I would meet with him weekly, and we'd say, "Hey, Michael, can we make this? We want to do this change. What are your thoughts about this?" He's like, "If you need it, we'll make it work. We'll make it, if it's what's best for the kids, if it's what's best for the staff." And we didn't know how he moved things around behind the scenes in the different funds, but he made it work. And my understanding is that when he came into the district, we were in pretty rough financial shape. And now if you look in terms of and when I talk about the general fund, but now as you're looking at the general fund, we are in a really good position right now. We just talked about it the other day about the surplus that we have because of Michael's, just his vision for making things work. So I want to share that. The second thing, talking about family, we have this tradition in our DLT meetings to go around the table at the start of our meeting. DLT is district leadership team, and at the beginning of meetings, all right, share one highlight, share one thing that's going on in your world. And almost every single time he would be glowing about some upcoming family event where he was having all the kids and grandkids come to the house, and there was he had a big lot, sound like a lot of land there, and kind of doing all kinds of activities. Or it'd be reflecting on, hey, the kids just left, the grandkids just left. We had a great time talking about all the memories he had with his family. So it was interesting because sometimes he's kind of quiet, kind of professional. But we asked him to open up. He would really just glow about everything he had going on at home with his family, kids and grandkids. So I just want to share those couple things. So what we're going to do is I do have and before I do this, is there any other board members that want to say anything? Okay, so we do have a plaque for Julia and family, and so if we can do a couple pictures here with them and then also with the department, that would be great.
And Julia, if you want to say anything also, and your daughter, you can go to the mic. Yeah, thank you.
Well, I'm not the public speaker. My husband Mike was that, but I just wanted to be sure to thank each one of you for honoring Mike in this way tonight, and for honoring him and our family in all the things that you've done for us. Mike was a quiet presence, but he was a solid and a strong presence. And I know you'll miss that. We're going to miss that too. I know he loved working with each one of you and, valued the relationship he had with each one and those in his office as well. So just thank you for this and for all you've done. Our family deeply appreciates it.
Well, thank you for sharing him with us for all these years, and we really appreciate it. And he is irreplaceable. He really is, but.
I don't have much more to add to that. I just want to introduce myself. I'm Tina. I'm his middle daughter, and I was the only one in the family that followed his steps, and I'm an accountant as well. I'm not as good as he was, though. But he was really, really encouraging when I went to school, and we really, understood each other. So, but I know he loved Waterloo and he loved working. I lost my voice. I don't usually sound like this, but I just wanted to just repeat what Mom said and just thank you so much. This really means a lot to the family. And, he didn't talk about work. I mean, he talked about work a lot, but he didn't talk about what he did. And so when we hear what you guys have said, it just really helps us understand what he all did for the school. And, we didn't really know all that. He was kind of a humble guy. And so it's just, we have a lot of pride for our dad in so many ways, but now just with his work too, even more so than we've ever had. Just what a good job he did. We didn't know, how good he was. So we just really appreciate that, and just very thankful to have a great guy in our life. So we'll definitely be missed, and I just appreciate it so much.
And thank you for continuing his legacy. That's awesome. That's awesome.
And then we'll have the department too.
Thank you very much for letting us have that tribute to Michael and the department. And Jeff, also to you, you have taken the ball, as they said, and ran, and we appreciate that greatly. So thank you. Our next item is Exhibit B, and this is, the superintendent's recommendation is that the Board of Education accept with great gratitude the donation of $10,000 from the R.J. McElroy Trust for the 23-24 Youth Emergency Fund as presented.
So moved. Second.
And we will have discussion. I guess we just, basically Pam is not here tonight, but we, anything for this large of a donation, and they've changed it a little bit this year, that it is good for all schools. McElroy, and before had identified specific schools, and now it's just kind of a pot of $10,000 that is available for schools in emergency needs when our family support workers or for counselors or principals or staff within any building sees a need. It's just such an awesome thing to have that amount of money that we can just utilize for what we need.
Do they all know how to like access or request?
Yep,
Part of
they
these
do.
funds?
So I'm sure you're aware, previously, we've come every few meetings to approve different smaller requests. We felt like this would be a more efficient way of handling these requests, would just be the one time.
Yeah, in the past, we've submitted reports to the McElroy Foundation, or McElroy Trust, periodically, like Jared was saying. This year, working with Shanley, they said, why don't we just give you a larger sum up front? So they traditionally give us money this time of year anyway, but they gave us a little extra so that we don't have to go back to McElroy each time and ask for additional funds. We can just, as we see any school getting low on funds, we can just replenish that school's needs.
That's awesome.
That's great. And again, it's just, as it takes a village to raise children and all of our kids, but the McElroy Trust always steps up when we need it, and with their generosity, it's just how we can present some programs even within the district. So we greatly thank the McElroy Trust and the board for this donation. Any other comments? All in favor then of approving, state aye. Aye. Any nays? Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Thank you all. Next up is Exhibit C, and this is information only, and this is the WCC Cybercade event. And we have Amy Meehee here to come up and give us a little background on this. And this is a non-voting, it's information only. So, Amy, we look forward to hearing all about this.
And just a reminder for the board, for the audience, each month, or each board meeting, we are highlighting different buildings across the district. We've got 19 buildings to highlight. Last board meeting, we had West High, and now we've got the Waterloo Career Center.
I got my whole team coming up, so.
Awesome. Well, we got to know who each one is,
Yeah,
and we
absolutely.
got to know what grade they are in and what is their favorite thing about the WCC, even teachers.
I do also want to recognize in the back row, we have some future teachers in the house here. Part of their assignment for class was to attend the board meeting. And so Ms. Kinnitz, you guys want to raise your hand if you're here from her class? Yeah, stand up.
Tammy, you're not shy. Come on.
And I'm also going to ask that the students and instructors tell you about the Cybercade event. And I think the most important part about it is the collaboration that you will see amongst 3 other programs. We invited several students to this event, and so I'm going to let them share that about you.
All right, I'll go first. Just, again, you want to hear from the students, so I'm Kyle Coolers. I teach the cybersecurity. And so the students are going to talk a little bit about their different experiences at the WCC and kind of a lot of the collaboration that goes on. So, Salma, if you want to go first.
What do I say? Hi, my name is Salma Sahira Roscoe. I'm a junior at West, and I've been thinking about what to say. I've been thinking about a lot of different ways to say it. And it always comes back to the WCC is amazing. I always enjoy going there. It makes my day. It makes me want to get up in the morning and go to school. And being able to be in a cybersecurity class, which is one of my major interests, is so enjoyable, and it really makes me motivated to learn more, and continue to grow as a person outside and in school.
Awesome job.
Hi, I am Anthony Rivera. I am a senior currently doing online classes at Expo, but I am a intern over the Waterloo Career Center. And I agree with pretty much everything that she said. It's a great place to go to. Makes me actually want to get up and go to school. But I am a game developer. I'm currently learning how to make VR games, you know, the real life stuff. And we have a collaboration with AEA we just got, which allows us to make games that allow students to study career paths. So hopefully, this isn't confirmed yet, but we're trying to do careers like John Deere and engineering, and maybe I can even make one for programming. It all depends on how this works out. But either way, I'm looking forward to it, and I look forward to more after school, like more programming, going to college, getting a job for it, and all of it's possible thanks to the WCC. So thank you.
Thank you. Good job.
Matt Dunkerton. I teach digital media at the Career Center. I didn't bring any students with me today, but the ways that my students engage in these collaborative events are typically with video production or audio. We'll set up a small little stand like this so a game developer that's coming to talk to our students can talk to our students and be heard. Signage for like graphic design or anything of that nature. And then if there's any animation or like digital video things that are needed, we'll provide that as well. So I'll turn it over to Todd.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Todd Kern. I teach digital graphics at the WCC. I've been there a long time. I know I recognize a number of your faces. You've been in my classroom before and heard my spiel. But the main thing, too, though, is that, like, if you think about it, Mr. Dunkerton, or I often joke that, like, I'll do stuff in two-dimensional, and then Matt's the one that brings it three-dimensional and then adds sound and movement to it, just like a real design firm. Now, I have got Mr. Avery Washburn here with us tonight. Avery, step up. You can talk a little bit about your internship with me, if you would.
Hello, my name is Avery Washburn. I'm 17 years old, senior at East High. In my time at the Career Center, I've taken 3 or so classes, all with Todd. One of those classes being graphic imaging, the graphic design class. That class has prepared me for the class I took the semester after, which was an internship with Todd. Which basically prepared me for what it would be like to be in the line of work of graphic design and what that kind of work would require. And that allowed me to appreciate more of what I'm interested in that line of work and why I chose to be in that kind of class. And it really helped me view and see what it's like, and drew me closer to that line of work and why I like to be with it.
Great, great.
And then lastly, I have Mr. DJ Gray here. And then he was able to come with us to an event. We went, all of these individuals did participate in the Cybercade on-site event. But then we did take some students down to a design dash, a collaborative program, if you will, with the University of Iowa, with the Jacobson Center down there at Iowa, U of I. So if you would, go ahead, DJ.
This program essentially had many kids over Iowa come into a space, and we had to build an app to pitch to investors. And by this, we were on the streets talking to people, interacting with each other over and over again, and it felt good. I was happy when Todd approached me with the idea, and I took it immediately because I felt like it would be a great opportunity, especially to meet new people. And that's what, honestly, the Waterloo Career Center does. Like with regular school in the classes, it's okay, but going into the Waterloo Career Center, I can really explore my interests, like taking my first class with Todd, which was photography from last year, and I really got to explore my artistic abilities. And also now I'm in video production with Mr. Dunkerton, and I just had my first project and I already love it. So I'm happy that the Waterloo Career Center is an outlet for me to really explore myself, express myself that regular school I can't really do in.
What's your name?
Damon Gray, but I go by DJ.
And where do you go to school and what grade?
West High School, I'm a senior.
Awesome. Thank you. You're back
So,
up,
all
Kyle.
right, just quickly, the Cybercade event was last February. A gentleman approached me about having one of the world's best graphic designers, video game developers visit the WCC and do a beta test with students. And so students had the opportunity, over 500 students, some of the central middle school students came over too, along with the WCC students, got a chance to beta test the Cybercade event, or the game, and then give feedback. And so they took the feedback and now they're working on an iteration of it before it's released. One of the students who couldn't be here tonight, actually out of that event, ended up getting an internship with Cybercade, graduated in May, got an internship, worked for him all summer, and now they're looking at trying to hire him on full-time. And so in doing the development. And so the graphic design, along with the programming and the different pieces within Unity that have to be put together. So. But he wasn't able to make it tonight, so canceled this morning, so.
All right, well, thank you all very much, and I just want to give kudos to each student. I mean, you guys all are like in the behind-the-scenes things with cyber and behind the camera, but you all did an excellent job speaking and talking to us, so very good job, very good job. Learning lots of skills out there at the WCC. Okay, thank you all. Next up is item D, which is the Waterloo Career Center programming presentation, and we have, again, Amy and Jeff Frost here to go over that with us this evening, and it is, again, for information only, but we look forward to hearing about all these exciting programs.
All right, well, thank you for having me. Jeff Frost, Executive Director of Professional and Technical Education for the district. And the first thing I want to start with before I jump into upcoming changes for the 24-25 school year, I just want to kind of review the process that's used to select or choose new programs here. So I think this is kind of an important step to understand. I understand that we just don't randomly, throw darts at a dartboard or, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, try to pick programs that way. We actually do have a very succinct selection process. So there are 7 steps to it that we begin with here. And the first one is we work with Grove Cedar Valley, our local chamber here, to look at job growth projections. So I think that's an important thing. Start where the jobs are at, but more importantly, where are they going to be at 5, 10, 15 years from now? And one of the things I told, we had a work session earlier about this, is that previously when I've presented on new programming, and we talked about this process, if we would have talked 10 years ago about jobs 10 years down the road, it was a lot more accurate or steady per se, but the job market and really the world of work has changed so much since COVID that it's really more of I would say a strong guesstimate of where the jobs are going to be at. And so we've kind of shifted gears more towards like an academy approach and guided pathways instead of a singular type program per se, to give students a variety or a smorgasbord of options within their passion and purpose areas there. So that's number one. Number two, we do receive input from our business partners, and we have numerous of them that participate in our fall and spring meetings that we host. We do receive input from the college community, the community college partners, specifically Hawkeye Community College, which is our strongest community college partner, and which is the one that we have the most programs through. Another one we look at is space available for programming. Obviously, with the expansion, we do have the luxury of spaces available for a broad array of programs that we are able to bring out there. A fifth one, really an important one, is we do survey our students. And we've been doing this for the last several years, and we do have a vast array of student interest surveys that we use. With us having shifted to Zello in the last 2 or 3 years, we also now have a bank of results when students go on Career Inspire events or Life Labs events. We can kind of see trends of what are their interest areas there. Another one is district funds available. In fact, that actually kind of drove some of our decision-making this time around in certain program areas there. It makes no sense if it's not a sustainable program per se, just a large expense each year to move in that direction there. And then the last one is teacher availability. We have to make sure we have the ability to bring an instructor in to teach that program in order to have that work there. So I usually talk to Hawkeye and say, hey, how's your luck been in bringing an instructor in this program area? If they say, we are struggling or we can't even find an instructor for it, I kind of I figure out that, that's probably going to be a tough one for us as well. So those 7 areas kind of determine our next steps of programming there. So with that said, I'm going to make you aware, and again, this is non-voting, this is more awareness. You actually will vote on this at the 1st October, I believe, the 1st October board meeting when Sharice presents the program of studies. But these are the proposals for 24-25. The first 5 all deal with current programs that we have and just some changes that we're making within them to upgrade them or to keep them current and things like that. The first one is cyber. Kyle and his crew that are here. We are making changes within the coursework within that. And the reason for that is the ever-evolving world of cyber. Obviously, as hackers move forward with their advances, the programming needs to keep moving forward with things to hold them back, the hackers back there. So coursework is changing. Really, the only change within that is just we are switching around some courses within that program there. Another one is both our sustainable construction and our advanced manufacturing courses. 2 years ago, we kind of switched more towards a certification-driven program. We are actually bringing back the credit side of things with Hawkeye Community College and still keeping the certification piece with that. So kind of the best of both worlds. Students will be able to earn community college concurrent credit if they want to continue out to the Hawkeye campus out on Orange Road. But if they are in it to earn certifications that will get them a job, school to work model, they will also have that ability within the program there. The last one of current programming that we have that we're making a change to, we have a very robust EMT program. It's actually growing leaps and bounds there. We are actually adding a course called Principles of Emergency Services to that, and the purpose for that is to really turn this into a fire science-EMT program. We know that most of the fire departments that are hiring in this area want or need the introductory fire service program as part of that there, but it also helps our local volunteer departments because they will also get, along with the strong EMT skills that are necessary, they will also get the introductory to fire service there with the emergency services course there. So those are 5 programs in place that we're just tweaking and updating there. In regards to new programs for next school year, it's not a very long list, but it's a very robust programming list there. The first one is, it's going to go under the title Beauty and Wellness, but it's really, what we're talking about is cosmetology and barber. And we worked with Capri College to help us design this program. Again, by no means, one thing I always tell people, we're kind of open access programming, so our students can go anywhere they wish. But Capri did help us kind of shape this up here. And this is going to be a really neat program. And actually, I think it's going to be one that you're going to see a capacity right away. The first semester, it's actually a 2-semester sequence. The first semester is Introduction to Beauty and Wellness, which is really just laying out all the aspects within cosmetology and barber, really just a broad array of things within that realm there. If a student has interest after that first semester exploratory, they can continue on to the second semester course, which would be Beauty and Wellness Career Path. This is a certification-driven pathway. We would actually tie business courses to this, and they would also begin the deeper dive into cosmetology and barber, and all the things tied to that aspect there. They also would earn certifications where they actually could earn money while either pursuing that as a career pathway, or on the other side, if they decide to pursue another career pathway, they would always have these certifications where they could still do the items that were learned in this class and with the certifications that they've earned. Our next program that we're bringing on is the Agri-Science Academy, and this one is a combination of really concurrent courses, 2 of them from Hawkeye Community College, and then what I would call a canned curriculum called CASE, which stands for, and Jared, I'd like to know where you found that at, Curriculum for Agriculture, Science, and Education. If you think of Project Lead the Way, PLTW, CASE is really the Project Lead the Way for agriculture. So it's a strong, robust curriculum. About 97% of the schools that have ag programs that use components of CASE at some point within this year. We actually have gone broad with this. Ag is such a broad area. It's really a broad scope area there. We actually want to expose students to all areas within agriculture. You're going to find things such as food science, natural resources, plant, animal, safety, agronomy, horticulture, and business side of agriculture. So we're really going to go with really the broad scope view of this, and then if they find an interest within that, they can pursue that pathway deeper there. Interesting fact, only about 3% of all jobs in agriculture are actually people living on a farm working the farm. 97% of the positions within an agri-science program are actually tied to really the science side or the veterinary side. For example, I always think of like George Washington Carver and what he did with peanuts. That's ag science. Think about Iowa and ethanol. That's ag science. So, that's the broad scope and view of this program is very much that, much broader than just the farm aspect. With that said, obviously, we need farmers. We need farmers, great profession. Love to get that 3% even higher there, but as farming has grown, the ag industry is growing with it there. So those are the programs. I'll keep going here. I got 2 more here. Another program we're bringing on is the Power Tech Academy. And this is one where I talk about financial restraints that kind of pulled us back a little bit. One thing we were considering was auto collision repair and auto technician. And after talking to both Hawkeye and actually our auto dealers locally here, we realized that this program was not cost efficient by any means. Number one, the training for an auto technician is ongoing and a deep dive and is always changing and staying current. Think about your cars today. If a chip goes down, it can shut down your entire car. The old mechanic, the traditional mechanic that you had back in the 70s and 80s is no longer there. So we were kind of told that you really don't want to, you want to expose them to it, but if they really want to take this field, they need to come on with us, whoever that may be, and really do that piece there. The auto collision repair is another one. Just the cost of the startup alone was $200,000, and the annual recurring cost to maintain that program was another $200,000. The paint alone on auto collision repair would have been about $50,000 a year. So very cost prohibitive. So this Auto Tech Academy, if you look at this, really encompasses the entire area of auto technician and auto collision, and really all things tied to engine and motors there. So we think this is going to be a very popular academy. We know there's a lot of students. Again, I could see this being one at capacity right away. The last program that we're bringing on new would be our, it's kind of a 2-track program with the dual name, Criminal Justice and/or Police Science Academy. So a student would be able to get 4 courses deep and then make a decision whether they want to pursue police justice. And our articulation is with Hawkeye to you and I on that, which would be potentially law, but it could also be CSI, investigative type pieces with that. Or if you want to be a police officer, we have a direct line with Hawkeye where their first 4 courses could be taken at the Career Center, along with liberal arts courses back at East or West. They could get they would get at least their first semester and into their second semester done while still in the Waterloo schools for free if they wanted to be a police officer there. So very excited about our 4 new programs there. And then just some other niche things that just make you aware of there. We are adding some courses within our business and finance that we're going to allow our students to get an entrepreneurship certificate, which will, again, if you can get the best of both worlds, it would include credit and certifications. By adding accounting 1 and 2, we now have students that can take 5 courses within both those programs and get the entrepreneurship certificate. And then the other one there, and just passing, I'm going to mention this, and we're going to work with our counselors on this, but there are 2 things out there that I didn't mention in the workshop there, but we're going to start looking at our 17 and 18-year-olds that may be interested in CDL licensure, which we know is a pretty hot and widely needed area in this day and age, and heavy equipment operators. There's a lot of students, believe it or not, that actually earn their CDL, and then they go to college in a different pathway, and they use that as their summer job and make really good money. But there's 100% placement in both of those areas. Heavy equipment operators, again, 100% placement, great opportunity out there. And we're working with Hawkeye Community College, and they have a campus to the south of their regular campus where they house these programs at. We're working with recruiting and identifying 17 and 18-year-old seniors that may have an interest in these areas to get them out there and get a jump start where they could actually earn their CDL or their heavy equipment operator's certificate by the time they graduate from high school. So that is kind of what is coming. As I told the people in the work session, there's a much deeper dive into all of these programs. I know Amy Meehee and Whitney Fisher and Allison Peach, our counselor at the WCC, are going to have all of our district counselors in on October 12th and all of our area counselors in to do a deep dive into each and every one of these programs and to talk about articulations and kind of lay out the pathways in a much deeper fashion there. But like I said, in regards to this is not an action item, it's just informational. Lots of great information. If any of you have or want more information on this, feel free to give me a call or email me, and I'd feel free to sit down and talk about these great options for our students there. So any questions before I sit down? I feel like I've talked about this for a while for at least a few of you here.
I just want to say I appreciate your looking at it at concurrent and certificate both. I've been on a number of college visits in the last several years, and particularly you and I, when they talk about theirs is their program, but how many certificates we can add to that to help strengthen the value of what they're doing. Can we add a class or 2 here? And it seems to be kind of mirroring that approach. So appreciate the work doing there to try to offer a little bit for everyone. If you're in a concurrent pathway, a 2-year pathway, looking for work right out in school, or trying to progress to a 4-year. So I like what you're showing here. So.
Absolutely, our diploma and a plan, so helping those kids find their pathway, their plan after they graduate.
Yep.
I had a question about the beauty and barbershop. So once they receive their certificate, and let's say they go to Capri, does that certificate apply to the hours that they need?
Well, it kind of depends on each entity whether or not that the hours and or what they've taken. These are exploratory classes. They're not college level classes, but there's a lot of components within there where it's what I would say it's almost like a club out where they could show skill. The certifications absolutely carry over to wherever they go, and they would have evidence that, if they went both semesters, that I completed this certification, which would definitely save them something within that program there. But it's kind of dependent on, if a student continued down that pathway where they decided to go.
And I would just say, we did small groups on developing that Ag Science Academy there and some of the program there, as a parent of two kids that did not grow up on a farm who were heading into, agriculture-based industry, it'd been a little bit for both of them, You're plant science and agronomy, animal science, you want to be a vet, you want to be into ag production, where it's animal or it's plant-based, there's a lot of stuff there, and also on the business side of that. So, a lot of the programs like, one of my kids is in equine science and management. So you're talking about the science and the management both. It's not just singular. And so I think that is going to be a nice program really to give some broad exposure to, and I think it's something to offer a lot of kids something that maybe they didn't think their careers past could be. So.
Yeah, I should also mention this about the ag piece. And probably the leading producer of ag educators is Iowa State University. And one of the things that they do is they require their educators to be CASE certified. So this is like Project Lead the Way. You actually have to have the certification to teach it. So every student that comes out of Iowa State has that CASE curriculum certification, and almost all of them are also have a science minor. So one of the great things about this CASE program, a student could take it for an exploration into ag, just interest area, but they could also, if it's taught by a science instructor, they can also get science credit for it too. So it's actually a dual elective per se, in the fact that they can get core science and explore a great field within the ag world there. I also appreciate Jesse was on our committee. We had a pretty robust committee. Him and Lyle were both on that, along with multiple people within multiple areas within the ag realm that helped us make these choices for this program there. So I thought it was a great process, very interesting, and I really think we settled on the correct programs of where we need to be at.
Well, and I just want to add this, the testimony of your students that you had here, that this is the place that makes them want to go. We're just giving more and more and more opportunities to have students hone in onto what works for them. And so these look awesome, and I think they'll be full. I wish I was a student. I could go back and learn some of these things, but I think it's excellent, and I just think, the instructors here and the students that were here, were so poised and excellent to speak in front of us, and they're your testimony right there.
They're amazing. I mean, every time they come up here, they knock it out of the park. It just blows me out of the water. Actually, all kids from all classes, but WCC kids, I really love how they just come up here and, do great jobs.
So, any other questions for Jeff? Comments? Okay, well, you are done.
All right,
thank you so much. And Amy, also, thanks for all your work. Okay. That brings us to the next item on our agenda, which is Exhibit E, and this is a board celebration, Teach Waterloo and Lead Waterloo. And we will have Anthony here, and I think Sam and Dr. Colleen Mulholland, the Dean from the College of Education from UNI. And a little bit of background as they're entering. Teach Waterloo, Lead Waterloo is a grow-your-own partnership between the University of Northern Iowa and Waterloo Schools, supported by the R.J. McElroy Trust, the Schools Foundation, and John Deere Waterloo Operations. The focus of the program is to increase the number of minority elementary education teachers and leaders within the district to support student success. So we're excited to hear about the program from Dr. Mulholland from UNI, and Anthony is here. So Matt's getting it ready, I see. And this is information only, no board vote.
So I'm not sure why it's not loading in PowerPoint, but you can just, for the sake of time, just click through the
Very good.
slides. Sorry about
Thank
that.
you so much.
Good evening. I'm Colleen Mulholland, Dean of the College of Education at the University of Northern Iowa, and it's my pleasure to be able to share really great news about our teacher and administrator training. And so we have, I'll give a little bit of history. So this is a program that started in around 2018, and we're all standing on the shoulders of the geniuses who started to put this together, former employees both at UNI and Waterloo schools, but it started with an investment from McElroy Trust at $300,000. And that money then really allowed us to continue to talk to community partners, and since 2018, we have been supported by generous sponsors at the tune of $700,000 to get this program moving and to support future teachers and administrators. In our conversations about the impact that investing in one future teacher has, we use this metric. So roughly one teacher in a classroom of 25 students per year for 20 years of teaching. One teacher at the elementary level would impact 500 students. So one teacher of color impacting 500 students. And then if we do the math out further, for example, 12 Teach Waterloo Fellows, future teachers, investing in those future teachers allows the impact to be, while they're teaching, 6,000 students. And so this is really the foundation of this work. Has become a passion project for us in the school district as well at UNI. And it's really much deeper. We believe there's great community impact. There's no order to the bubbles up here, but I'll start at the top and work counterclockwise. Certainly, we have enrollment at UNI, which is helpful, but we all know recruitment to the teaching profession is dire in some cases, and the recruitment and retention at Waterloo schools is quite important. Not only then to the community of Waterloo as living history and building that history today. We know that this program invests in generational poverty, systems inequalities, and what we see is great academic achievement through the fellows who have been part of this program. So I think it was important to couch the history and the bigger why of this program here. And now we'll go a deep dive into who has been part of this program. So as I stated, this program started in fall of 2018. And at that time, 3 students were enrolled, and those 3 students graduated. They're now graduates of the program. Then fall of 2020, and we all know around the pandemic timing, so we've got a lot of things going on here. We had 6 students enrolled in that program. As of today, 5 students remain in that program. 4 have graduated, and 1 is student teaching right now, who'll graduate in December. In fall of 2022, we enrolled 4 more students, and then just 6 short weeks ago, 3 more enrolled in the program. So we really have 7 taking coursework in Teach Waterloo, 1 student teaching, and you may recognize a familiar face. This is Shakari Bruce, a graduate of the program, a current teacher at Lincoln Elementary, just one of our success stories. I did share the names here of, it's not coming out pretty, but it did share the names of what you of who our current Teach Waterloo Fellows are. And part of why I wanted to share this is because these 4 students are enrolled in what we call the Purple Pathway for Paraeducators. This is an online program, and this program allows these students to remain in the same cohort, learning and relying on each other, building that community of of learners as well as professionals in the program. This program allows for endorsement areas in both elementary education and in special education, the Strat 1 endorsement. And so these students will continue to move through with a projected graduation date of May of 2024. That's just this May. One of the aspects we were allowed to grow as we put our heads together and think creatively, I'll add that during COVID, we taught a lot of courses online, but at UNI, that was a really big shift for us, and now we know that quality education can occur online. This is allowing our professionals to work in the schools and then take classes online and in the evening. And so we also were able to expand from elementary education endorsement to here you see elementary and special education. And the 3 students who are just starting this year, now we're able to put them in multiple programs. And you see in the endorsement area, we have 1 student who will, upon successful completion of the program, be recommended for elementary education and middle level education. We have a 2nd student who will be recommended for elementary education and TESOL, or English Language Learning, and then another student on the purple pathway for elementary ed and special education. So we're really proud of the fact that we're able to think creatively and continue to add variety to the endorsement options for these students. This has been a really great learning experience. This has been a partnership with humility and strength. Our successes are in that partnership. And so I also think that part of our partnership allows us to be creative, to think a little differently, allow for innovative opportunities, and some of that innovation was shifting the courses to an online delivery. The pairing of online and the cohort-based has really proven to be successful for the Teach Waterloo Fellows. We've worked with Waterloo schools on intentional recruitment processes, and as I indicated, we've expanded those endorsement options. But in any good learning experience, we've had some hurdles, and I'm very thankful for partners who are willing to work through those tougher times together. So we do know that paraeducators and other educational support staff are working adults who are juggling multiple demands of being an adult, but then add family, add being a student, and that is really a heavy lift for the students in this program. We continue to think about the full support around advising, around financial aid, around questions of how to access the library online. What does that mean in the work situation, and how do we work together to ensure the most, in the ripest environment for success for the Teach Waterloo Fellows. Adults who come back to school, sometimes it's just not their bag. There's a lot going on, and GPA may struggle. We have seen some students who have had to retake some coursework, relearn some study habits, but we have that environment to continue to support the students through. And lastly, I'll share that the starting line, if you will, for this program is anyone with an AA, an AS, or higher, associate's degree. And not everybody is at the same starting line. And so we are thinking about creative ways that we may be able to close some of those gaps for students who are, or potential Teach Waterloo Fellows who have readiness, may have a couple decades behind them from the last time they were in school, but how to close that gap with some coursework to get them to the starting line of this program. A testament to the partnership and the creativity is what we were also able to think of, I would say pretty quickly this summer, in leadership development. UNI also has online principalship programs. And so one of those creative avenues was to talk with our donors about, hey, what if we started to train teachers of color to become leaders and administrators of color? And so, very quickly this summer, we were able to start what we call Lead Waterloo, and a great expansion of our Teach Waterloo program. And I know this was celebrated through your social media channels and through your public releases and so forth. But here are our 5 Lead Waterloo Fellows. We do have a 6th who is in his 2nd year of the program, who is also going to be sponsored by, in his final year, of the Lead Waterloo program as well. What's a strength in our principalship program is, again, it's cohort-based. And while these students may not necessarily be in the same cohort with each other, they are around other teachers who are balancing those life demands of working as a teacher, family, life, and then taking on graduate coursework toward a master's degree and recommendation for licensure and principalship. So all that told, it's really, really exciting to be able to put some of these numbers together. And if you can think back to those other slides about impact, I think these are some of the numbers that really do demonstrate that. So our Teach Waterloo Fellows, we've had 7 graduates, and the MT stands for McElroy Trust. That's how we're kind of earmarking some of the dollars here. I shared with you we have 1 student teaching, and then we have 7 currently enrolled in coursework, and they're being sponsored by the Waterloo Schools Foundation. That gives us 15 Teach Waterloo Fellows, some already teaching, and some we know will be new teachers. Plus the 6, right, 5 new Lead Waterloo Fellows, plus the 6th colleague who is finishing his 2nd year in the program. And with our funding, and that's John Deere, plus McElroy Trust, and with our funding from Waterloo Schools Foundation, we still have 5 remaining seats for a 2-year experience, either at Teach Waterloo or Lead Waterloo. That's to be determined. But all those numbers together, this initiative has the projection, with its current funding, for 26 new teachers and administrators of color in Waterloo. And for that, I know we're all very proud. I'm not the only one who's been part of this. I have colleagues and other experts in the room who will be happy to add or answer questions.
I think I would just add at this point that I talk about this program to my colleagues about wherever I go, because for the state of Iowa, this is a pretty unique program for a school district to offer their employees. So a good number of districts, larger districts, are working on the pathways for their students, but not many have a program like this for current employees. And it is really, in part, and we are so appreciative of the people who have supported this program. And as you saw, the dollar amount number that was up there, that is a lot of money and a lot of work that had to come together to make this happen over the last several years. So I just want to thank you as a board for supporting this, and our partners who have supported this over the years to make this all possible for these individuals.
Come on up.
I have a question. Is there a commitment for the teachers for the participants to remain in the district? And what is that commitment?
Yeah, the agreement, and Sam, if I say this wrong, you come up and correct me, but the agreement that we have in place asks that they stay with us for 3 consecutive years after they complete the program.
And the AA that they have to have, can that be in any area of study?
Yes. Yes, that is usually the fulfillment of UNI's general education curriculum, which allows us to start right after that 60 credit hours toward the professional coursework.
Awesome. And then how do they apply for the program, I guess, if we could get that information out there?
That has varied over the years. So right now, the current way that we do it is our building administrators have been helping us identify people that they have within their buildings that could be good for this program. They have conversations with them at that level, and then in terms of whether or not people are interested, they start going through the process of applying through the university and getting connected with my office to learn more about what it entails.
Okay, so contact HR.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes, contact us.
All right.
If you don't mind, I just wanted to stop in here and say one thing real quick from the Waterloo Schools Foundation. Hannah Luce, Executive Director of the Waterloo Schools Foundation. It's good to see you all again tonight, and I just appreciate you listening to this presentation, from the foundation, we're just so excited about this program and being able to collaborate with incredibly passionate individuals and organizations. We could not be doing this work without a bequest from the late Eleanor Ketchum and her generosity. We received that in the summer of 2021 and agreed to have those dollars go to this program in February of 2022. So we just always want to appreciate her and her family for donating that. And we're just happy. And as the foundation came out with some value statements this spring to help narrow down our mission statement within the Waterloo schools, one of those is diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. So this falls in line incredibly well with that value, and we're just excited to be able to see this continue to carry out. And as you see, there's still 5 open slots with the Waterloo Schools Foundation dollar. So we're just excited to see who steps into that. So thank you so much, and we're just excited. That's all I can say. We're just excited. So thank you.
And is this program open? And thank you to the foundation, because this is awesome to sponsor. And I mean, it's like you say, it just fits right into the plan to increase the equity and diversity within Waterloo schools to mirror our student body. You know, it's awesome. But do we look at expanding this outside of potential other minority classes within the community?
So that obviously has not been a part of the program to date, but we are continuously talking about ways that we can expand upon this, because at least as those of us who work in education know, there is a shortage of educators in the state of Iowa and other places around the country. So the more we can talk about how to expand on this, the better. And we have a meeting coming up with all of our stakeholders, I guess you could say, in, I don't know, in a couple of weeks maybe, to maybe start some conversations about that.
Awesome. I think that would be awesome.
Is this a program that's only available if you're within the district already?
Yes.
So
Yeah,
it's not
so-
something that you would be able to use as a recruitment tool to somebody who may has an AA that you could hire into as a para, but then if they wanted to continue their education on?
It hasn't been that to this point, so it's only been for current staff to this point. And, you know, yes, we could potentially use it as a recruiting tool, but we also want to see a commitment from the people who are in the program to the district, because this is a lot of money to invest into an individual, and we just want to make sure that people are committed to us and to the program.
But you might be offered, recruited into those positions, and with the opportunity, they may be able to earn a spot there too, right?
Possibly.
You know, if you're recruiting paraeducators or something to position.
Yeah, I mean, that's always a possibility.
I mean, give them a reason, a potential reason why they would want to come work for Waterloo Schools.
Right.
Like, this is a program we have out there that you might be eligible for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from board members?
I just want to make one quick comment. I've been more heavily involved in the Lead Waterloo program. Just want to say thanks to you and I, to our HR department, and to the foundation. Like, that literally came together probably in about 2 months, which seems like a long time. In a big system like this, pulling off a program like that in less than 2 months is usually, a lot of big districts will see the barriers and they'll quit. I feel like this group saw the barriers and said, how can we take down those barriers? So we all worked together. We quickly asked for feedback from our administrators. We asked from you and I and the foundation if they were supportive of it. HR did interviews. I heard the interviews were outstanding. So just thanks for, like I said, for making it work. Because we easily could have punted it and said, hey, let's do it another year. But when and I just anecdotally, I had a chance to meet not only the 5 Lead Waterloo fellows, but also the other, I think, 6 students who are in that cohort, because I think it's 11 or 12 of them. Like, they're excited about being a part of the program. I mean, when we broke the news to them that they were getting free tuition for the programs, like, super, super excited. And honestly, like, we need to restock our ranks in leadership. You know, we've, just like teaching and leadership, there's also a shortage out there. We're getting less and less applicants. So I feel good with this start. I'm hoping it can continue. That's why we're having the conversation. I'm sure it will. But again, just thanks for making it work, because a lot of places probably would have said, that's too much work. That's too much for us to do. We're busy. And they said, this is a priority. Let's make it happen. And now we've got 5 or 6, depending on how you look at it, new people coming through the ranks.
And I'll add, for the lead Waterloo piece, we had more interest than spots we had available. So that was really encouraging to see, even with like that short turnaround time of just, I don't even know if it was 2 months that we, it might have been less that we pulled it all together in that time period. But, so yeah, that was really encouraging to see.
Yeah, and we appreciate that. I mean, that's a huge commitment on the students' part. I mean, to go into a master's program on, you know, that kind of notice, and for everyone to do it together, and for us to provide the support. It's great. I didn't know about it until you tweeted it. So that's how fast it happened. Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Okay, thank you three very, very much, and continue the good work. The next item on our agenda tonight is a time when we allow for information from individuals and delegations. So I'm not going to read the whole caveat unless there is someone here that would like to approach the board. Okay, seeing none, we will move on then. The next item is our consent agenda, and tonight that consists of 5 items. Item F is the minutes of the September 11, 2023 regular board meeting. Item G is personnel appointments and adjustments. Item H is bills due and payable and bills paid between board meetings. Item I, the 2080 agreement with Sumner Fredericksburg Community School District. And item J, the abstract of votes from the special PEPAL election. Are there any of these items board members would like to have removed? Seeing none, can I get a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
In a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. That's a first, you guys, good job. Okay.
Lyle's not here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that part supposed to be said out loud?
Okay, the next item on our agenda is item K, and that is network security purchase that we have to do in closed session. So the board will now retreat to room 110, and we will return after we have finished the closed session business in that meeting. Thank you.
I get it.
Okay, we have now returned from closed session, and the superintendent's recommendation is that the Board of Education approve the purchase of network security software and services as presented in closed session.
So moved.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Matt. The next item on our agenda then is Exhibit L, and that is the board policy changes, and this is the second reading of these. And the superintendent's recommendation is that the board approve the following policies: student disclosure of identification and instructional materials selection.
Second?
And discussion.
I only have one teeny tiny little thing on 603.6, the instructional materials selection. I think that should be instructional material selection.
Okay.
I just think we should take the S off that.
Okay, we will take that to the board secretary, and I'm sure we can do that with just removing an S, a plural. I think we're all right without an amendment.
Was that 503.7?
No, 603 point.
Right here,
Yeah.
right here.
603.
In the title,
Yeah.
just the title of it.
I would love to see at some point, halfway down 603.6, it talks about the things that you need to keep in mind. And something that I think would be really nice to have on there, and I know we're not ready for it, is to put something about that history needs to be taught accurately. I mean, that should be a no-brainer. But when you're reading through these, to make sure that you don't get into politicized stuff about whatever, the past, it would be nice at some point, I think, to have that in there. But I think that we need to kind of wait and see what legislature pumps in on. Do you understand what I mean?
Not really.
Okay, so if you read through these, it's talking about, a lot of these have been put in there because of laws that have come down, right? So they're talking about the way that you need to make sure that you're presenting information and how you're choosing information. And I think the way that we've crafted them is really good. I think it's better than the ISBs, actually, because we did a little bit of changes to some of them. But in there, in the ISB one, it talks about like ideology, things like that. And I just think that at some point, it would be nice to have something in there that just says that history is going to be taught accurately and without bias.
But I guess that would infer to me that we're not doing that now.
We are, but
This is our policy, though.
yes. And I just, talking about as things change, if you get into a whole fight about, like, let's say the 1619 versus 1776 arenas, like how you're going to teach, or if you're, let's make it less politicized, and let's talk about like the boy in the striped pajamas. If you're going to teach it, that it's going to be taught that this is fictional, this never happened, things like, and I know that we already do it. I'm just saying, as a board, I think it's a good statement to say that we are standing behind our people and that they are teaching history factually.
But this is really only about material selection, though. It's not really talking about actual teaching.
Well, I mean, how we teach those things,
I mean, it's just talking about
the
just,
material you choose plays a
it
role.
may or may not. I mean, it depends on the subject matter, so.
Well, right.
But this is more, I mean, to me, this policy is more about how we select books and curriculum and that than necessarily the delivery of it necessarily, so.
I get what you're saying, Stacy. I agree.
And I would say I would be more than in support if that's what our teachers wanted it to say, because our teachers are the ones that are delivering instruction and selecting the materials. So if the teacher thinks that they have to tell us that they are indeed teaching history accurately, I don't think a teacher needs to tell me that, because they're the teacher and I'm not the teacher, but that would be my opinion. But anyway.
Well, true. It's just when you look at all these, when you look at all this stuff, a lot of this is, well, teachers you would think that we wouldn't have to put that in there because they're already, so that's kind of the point, is that we're standing up for, and we're saying, yes, this is how materials are chosen, and we support our staff in doing so. But
Okay.
it was just kind of an aside. It's something that since we did this in policy review, it's something that I was talking about. I do think that it may only become applicable if there may come to times when staff may have to struggle more to decide what they can and can't teach.
Right, but then I would argue that a teacher might say, how do I promote hope and positivity in a very negative situation?
No, I
You know,
No,
I
I
mean,
agree.
if we're going to mandate, you know, I think we have to be careful mandating, would be my opinion. But otherwise,
This
any
is-
other comments?
No.
None? Okay. Then all in favor of approving the, yes.
Is this an approved thing? Okay,
Yes,
sorry.
it is.
Go on.
Because it was a second reading. So the recommendation was, I believe you seconded it, that the board approves the following policies. So, student disclosure of identification and instructional
I
material
did
selection.
have one other question. Jared, with the identification one, do we know if parents have been given information about what they can do if they want to let their child be able to make their own decisions? Like, I know we talked about that we were going to make that available to parents, that they could just go on to campus portal and say, my child is allowed to make their own decisions if they choose to.
Yeah, we've communicated that a couple times.
Okay.
Through the district messaging platform. I do agree that going into next year, we want to make it more clear to parents.
Yeah.
A big opportunity for us, the one big chance we have to communicate with parents is during registration.
Yeah.
That's like when we kind of got that hanging
Have
out in
them on
front
the
of
hook.
parents. Yes, exactly. So that's what a lot of districts are, like, we're doing the best we can this year.
Yeah.
We know for next year that big opportunity for us to have leverage on parents is during registration. So that's really going to be our focus moving forward.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Now we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
Okay, I've got 3 items to talk about. First and foremost, transportation. We've been hearing loud and clear feedback from parents, from parents, from employees, from students even, about some of the busing we're going through. We do have a meeting set up tomorrow afternoon with First Student Corporate Leadership, the COO, Chief Operating Officer, one of the vice presidents will be in attendance. We've also collected some feedback from our building principals, our building secretaries. I believe I shared that with you guys to take a look
Did you say,
at.
is this meeting in person? Is
This
that
will be tomorrow.
It is tomorrow in person, though?
Yep,
They're
it
coming
is.
here?
There's gonna be a couple people zooming it on
Okay.
Zoom who can't make it, who are like, I think their headquarters are in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So anyways, I just want to make sure that the people who are watching, that the staff, the students, the parents know that we're continuing to work to address this as best we can, problem solve. The issues are going directly we're sharing it right with corporate leaders and saying, hey, here's the issues, how do we fix this? So we're working on it. We will continue to work on it until we get it straight. Number 2 is the Mayor's Fun Run was last week. Had a great time seeing it was beautiful. It was overcast, but it was a beautiful day, perfect day for running. So we had all the 4th graders in the district from all the different schools, and we include all the Waterloo schools, not just the public schools, but the private schools as well. Came, great day, great turnout, great event, talking about wellness for our students. Today is actually the strategic plan kickoff. So we're revamping the strategic plan going into next year, looking at what our district goals are, strategies are, core values. So we just kicked off we just sent out the survey today. Staff got it. I know our communications department was going to send it out to parents. I believe that went out. But we're really shooting, hopefully getting, thousands of responses on this to kind of generate feedback on what our strategic plan should look like going into next year. So this is just the kickoff. We're going to be doing lots of work, some focus groups, lots of conversations around it, but today's the kickoff on that. Last but not least was the PEPL vote, right? And we haven't met since the Pepple
No.
vote, is that correct? So
No,
yes.
The Monday before, or last meeting, Monday.
Oh
before.
my, that's right. I was like, gosh, time's flying by. But thanks to the community, thanks to the staff who voted, we passed, as you guys all know, 71% approval rate, which was, you know, considering that we actually did raise the levy, doubled it from 67 to 134. Just shows a lot about the momentum in the community. People want to see, you know, they understood that, hey, we need to continue doing what's best for our school, our facilities, all the different, you know, just last week we celebrated Irving Playground, the brand new playground being open at Irving. And if you could have saw the students' reaction, we had the second graders out there. And when we opened the doors for the first time, the kids, like, it was great. I mean, it's just small things like that that make a better learning environment, that if we want to keep up with all the other school districts, we've got to have top-rate facilities. And the Pepple vote was a huge step in the right direction for us. Now, clearly, those funds won't start until 2027, but one of my to-do items is to make sure that we have a clear plan for how to use that money going forward. We've got some good ideas, but we want to get crystal clear on what our top priorities are, from both Zach Kelly's perspective and also Dan Huff's perspective on what we need, not only for activities, but also on the school maintenance side. So lots of exciting things going on, great things. And again, I want to thank the board for their support and the community for their support on the Pepple vote.
Thank you very much. Tonight, we'll start with board comments with Janelle.
Nothing except thank you to all the teachers and paras who do all the hard work to help our students learn.
Esther.
Just want to say thank you to Jeff, Amy and the whole WCC crew. We had a work session earlier today where they gave out information about the Career Center and the upcoming potential programs. And during that meeting, I was kind of in awe. I know we've talked about it for the last few years, just with the adding more programs and what those will look like. And I think they hit the mark in the wide range of programming that they want to see our students be able to participate in and have the opportunity to further their education and their career path in those areas. I think quite a few of those programs will fill up in the first year or years to come. So kudos to them and their staff for all their hard work and you know, just a vision to bring those things to our community and to our students. So that's all I have. Thank you. Oh, and to the students that came. Every time, I mean, people ask me all the time, do I like being a school board member or what do I like? And I always say the board celebrations and being able to see our students speak so articulately and so poised and become leaders. So it makes me smile on days when I really don't want to, but so that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. India.
I know Dr. Smith just mentioned this, but I also want to piggyback on the Irving Elementary's playground. It made my heart feel so good for the fact that my oldest daughter, who was in fourth grade, kind of started, that class kind of started the initiative to get it started. And so when I told her, she was like, oh my God, finally. And now, mind you, she's almost 19, but she just felt so good about it too, and it felt good just to know that we were able to get that playground because they really needed it, and the whole space just looks amazing. So thank you for keeping up on social media to show that and showcase that beautiful space that has been developed. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Jesse?
Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of go with Esther here on the one item here, just the Career Center there updates, and I agree, you know, it's a very broad range that we're offering there, and, you know, I'm not being a native of Waterloo, but being here a number of years, you know, and, you know, the agriculture industry brought me here. If we look at our school district, we say Waterloo Community Schools, but when you look at the footprint of our boundaries, you know, we have agricultural areas in there. You go out towards Eagle Center, you go out towards Raymond, you go out towards Gilbertville, those areas north of Waterloo that lie within our district that are farming areas. So, I mean, you know, those numbers are, number of students and families with that reside in those areas that are farming families are fewer. They are a cross-section of our district, and be able to support, you know, programming for a diverse group of children across many areas, including agriculture, I think is important. So, and also important to our community, which is, like I said, is historically been an agricultural-based community, and be able to offer programming in that industry. So I really appreciate the work that Jeff, Amy, and the team have done on that, and the volunteers that we had come in to help with that curriculum development too. So I look forward to seeing that implemented in the coming years here. So.
Thank you, Jesse. Stacy?
It's nice to see everybody who made it to the end. I know it was a long meeting, so it's great that we have people coming and that we have staff who are motivated to want to be part of what we're doing and to make your voices heard, because you're the experts. I'm very glad that Michael's family could come. I think that it was a beautiful tribute to him. I wish for anything we wouldn't have had to do it, but I'm glad that we were able to. Otherwise, I saw conferences are coming up, so let's just have parents be getting to them.
Okay, great. And to me, I attended the Urban Education Network meeting with Director Snow from the Department of Education on Friday, and she has some new initiatives that she's going to be rolling out for districts, and just a positive in that districts across the state, I mean, most all the larger districts were there, and they all have some voids in some of their staffs, just like we do. So we know that we've got to get a pipeline, especially for special ed throughout the state. So I'm working on things for that, and she was very receptive to meeting with all the UAN superintendents and board members, so it was a very positive experience. So, and lastly, I just wanted to thank Jeff and the whole finance department. It's a very difficult thing to lose your leader and your mentor, let alone a coworker that was the leader. So I just appreciate your staff's diligence to keeping the district running and afloat, and finance is not an easy thing in the state of Iowa. And it's difficult, and your staff has gone above and beyond. So just please, the ones that came tonight, but also the ones that weren't able to come tonight, if you would express our sincere thanks for just the job they've done in, you know, stepping up and also dealing with the grief of losing your leader. So, with that said, could I have a motion to adjourn this evening?
So move.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. We are adjourned. Thank you.